what exactly is going on in Geneva at the World Health Organization, and how do we get so far down the road of it looks like signing something that's going to expand the sovereignty, the ability of the World Health Organization in Geneva, controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, to affect the sovereignty of the United States of America?
That's right. It's hard to believe, Steve, but in less than 2 weeks' time, a vote will take place in Geneva, Switzerland at the World Health Assembly. They're important because they're the governing body of the World Health Organization, WHO. This authority that they would be given would impact 99.4% of all the people in the world. There are 193 nations belonging to the UN. The Biden administration is bringing amendments that would propose that all nations of the earth cede their sovereignty over national health care decisions to the WHO, the World Health Organization. So what this would mean, Steve, is that the WHO would have decision-making authority to intervene into the United States government policy in any nation of the world without our permission. So, for instance, the lockdowns where you see 26 million people today locked down in Shanghai, China, they can't leave their apartments or homes. The WHO would have the authority to be able to impose that here in the United States for whatever pretext they want. They don't have to show data. They could do this. What this does, Steve, bottom line, is it creates a platform for global governance through the WHO.
Their agenda is right out there for anybody who wants to see it, and we're already seeing May 22nd, a big day here, Carrie, with respect to the WHO and the International Pandemic Treaty that basically is going to supersede all of the nations on the planet's constitutions. So voila, our freedoms will be gone, as if we don't already know they're gone now. Do you feel like there's any sort of momentum to stop this massive gray cloud that's going to just smother and blanket the entire world, for that matter?
Yeah. Well, I have to say that unfortunately the people in our country are not educated about what an international treaty means. And you just hit the nail on the head. When we sign these international treaties, they will supersede what our protocols, our laws, our mandates, our constitution is in our country. And actually, in the international court, they can declare war on a country that does not follow these treaties. And so we've signed some pretty awful treaties, like the Codex Alimentarius. I advise people to look at that. Decades ago, we signed on with most of the countries. And what this is saying is that they plan to change the entire world. Every plant, animal, and human is to be genetically modified. They have a 10-year plan. They never said when they would institute it, but it appears that 2020 was a start point. 2030 is definitely an end point for them. So that's the master plan of what we're seeing now, the master plan of these injections, the master plan of genetic modification. So that's how we understand this. The World Health Organization, that's the next international treaty they're signing on, would actually give power to this entity directly so that they could determine if we have a pandemic. They're the only ones to determine. Okay, they're the ones to determine what the treatment is. That means they supersede every doctor, every country. They will tell you what you can get, when you can get it, and if you are a threat to public health. They've already told us that they can pull your children out of your home.
Could look back in 100 years and identify the coronavirus epidemic as the moment when a new regime of surveillance took over.
It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance. So let's do it.
work we're going to do to be ready for pandemic 2, I call this pandemic 1. Most of the work we'll do to be ready for that are also the things we need to do to minimize the threat of bioterrorism. To be ready for pandemic 2, I call this pandemic 1.
We'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is, will get attention this time. We'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is, will get attention this time.
Is the exact opposite of democratic recourse. It takes away any possibility for the people to hold officials accountable. This amounts to no less than disenfranchising the people. We, as elected representatives by the people. Dear colleagues, you might not be aware, but the abolition of democracy by the global elites continues. On March 3rd, the EU Commission was authorized by the Council to renegotiate the treaty with the World Health Organization on behalf of the member states. Under the guise of improving global pandemic response, the plan is to allow the WHO to seize executive governance powers of the member states in a case of a pandemic. Granting governance powers to non-elected body is the exact opposite of democratic recourse and takes away any possibility for the people to hold officials accountable. This amounts to no less than disenfranchising the people. We, as elected representatives by the people, for the people, must not allow this to happen. I am imploring you, do what you were elected to do. Look into this and protect the rights of the people you were elected by to act in their best interest. And to all the people in Europe, I would like to say, start acting now. Write to your MEPs. Let them know you will not tolerate to be stripped of your rights to democratic recourse. Let them know that any MEP supporting this or voting for this will not ever get your vote again.